Let's have a read through the different values listed for this first activity. We have trust, loyalty, family, love, freedom, wealth, abundance, time, knowledge, education, relationships, power, harmony, peace, creativity, status, pleasure, dominance, connection, belonging, friendship, compassion, strength, honesty, truth, authenticity, integrity, morality, leadership, teamwork, acceptance, endurance, discipline, determination, community, courage, accomplishment, kindness, control, and reputation. For part A of the first activity in this lesson, I would like for you to have a go of identifying whether certain values are positive or negative, and then in part B, you are required to write a brief reflective response in which you can justify the reasoning underlying your choices. You can complete these activities in your PDF workbook, which you can print off, or you can type your responses directly into the workbook. Now let's have a look at the instructions for part A. Choose 5 values from the list that can be perceived as positive and 5 values that can be perceived as negative. Many of the positive values can be quite easy to spot. There are some values that seem to be universally viewed in a positive light. It could be hard to argue that values such as love, peace, and kindness are negative in nature. There are other values that fall into the grey area. It is more difficult to determine whether the value is positive or negative. Some values just seem to be inherently negative, and maybe that is because they are potentially corruptive. For example, the value of power can be seen as negative, as the pursuit for power can lead people to make immoral decisions. Yet so many people aspire to advance themselves to gain more power in their relationships or social world. It's up to you to question whether this is inherently negative or can this be positive. Let's take a look now at the instructions for part B and some guiding questions that can help frame your thinking. Write a reflective paragraph in which you justify some of your choices from part A. You don't have to answer all of the questions that follow, but you can use them to guide your thinking as you prepare to write your paragraph. Questions to consider in planning your reflective response. Number 1, what makes some of your chosen values positive? Refer to specific values you have selected. Number 2, what makes some of your chosen values negative? Refer to specific values you have selected. Number 3, are any of your chosen values in the grey area that makes them more challenging to categorise as positive or negative, and why? Number 4, which of your chosen values do you perceive to be most negative or corruptive, and why? And number 5, which of your chosen values resonate most strongly with your own value system? Which values do you perceive as most important in life, and why? These questions are designed to get you to think more deeply about why you respond to particular values in a certain way. Values are personal. Your responses could differ quite a lot from the choices made by others. The same goes with the way we each respond to a text when we are analysing it. We carry our own values and perceptions into our reading of a text, just as an author carries their values and perceptions into their writing of it. It's our job to meet the author halfway and be sensitive to how our own values, judgments, or beliefs might shape our interpretation of a text, just as we are attempting to attune into how the author is representing their own. For the second activity for this lesson, you are required to write an analytical paragraph in response to the following question. Identify 1 to 2 values that are represented in a text of your own choosing. Analyse how and why the author has represented these values. Aim for 100 to 200 words. Here are some questions to consider in planning your response. Number 1, what is the author's attitude towards the value? Is it portrayed in a positive or negative light? Number 2, how has the author chosen to represent the value? Example, through characterization, setting, imagery, or symbolism? Number 3, how do you think the author wants their intended audience to perceive the value? Number 4, why do you think the author has portrayed the value in this way? And number 5, has the author's portrayal of this value been influenced by any aspect of their context? For example, their personal life, historical period, society, or their culture? That brings us to the end of this lesson. Happy writing!